My main man John was freaking a spectacular human being. Alrighty, everyone. Welcome to the Tao Show, where I bring a new guest on every time. We ask a few questions where we get to learn just a little more of your favorite content creators, and I get to have a fun conversation with it. Today, we have a very special guest. She is a Narwhal VTuber and a very kind person. Please welcome in episode 7's guest, Liz Justice. How you doing today?
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm like really honored when you reached out and you wanted to do the little talk show, and I was like, yeah, of course, I would
Just a
love
little
to
talk show.
join. Yeah, just a little,
Just a
a
little
guy.
We don't, you know. I may not be on the level of Taco Tots like John. Oh, Yikes! I don't think I could ever compete with him. But I'm like the little version. I'm like the Walmart version of John.
Well, then if that's the case, then you're doing pretty good.
You know, maybe
Walmart's pretty successful,
I'm doing
There's
something
nothing
right.
wrong with it.
I'm doing
Yeah.
something right.
But still, it's awesome to be here. Like, thank you for having me.
Thank you for actually accepting.
Of course, it's always fun to do these.
I agree. I generally do enjoy doing them.
Hmm.
So let's just start by introducing yourself a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm Liz Justice. I am a narwhal VTuber, while also a queen of the seas, full-time variety streamer as well. So I do a variety of gaming, and hopefully doing more in the future. But right now, mostly just on Twitch gaming. But I am planning on doing some stuff down in the road, and I just play everything that you can imagine. I'm kind of just I'll do horror, I'll do, like MMOs, RPGs, like you name it. I've probably played the genre of some sort.
What are some of your favorite games to play? If you don't mind me asking.
Ooh, right now, it's kind of just like there's so many good ones, right? I'm really into. I love Stardew Valley. That is a classic. Like I can pick it up and continue off where I left off, and then right now I've been really into Honkai Star Rail as well. So that's been a lot of fun doing that since that came out. So that's been fun. And then I'm really excited for Tears of the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
I just got it and it's on its way. It's being shipped. It's just I have to wait and I'm dying for it because I loved Breath of the Wild, any Zelda game too. Like that is like that genre is just a solid genre and like
Mm-hmm.
they just keep putting out a much better game than the last one.
Oh,
So
I have been
so
very
those are the
excited for Tears of the Kingdom. Like ungodly amount of excited because I love Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, no, it's unbelievably great. Like I love it so much and I'm like so excited that Tears of the Kingdom is finally out.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't have my
I
Switch
am
right now, so I
so
can't play it.
grateful.
I can't play it.
Oh no.
But I
I
will
feel
play
that.
it.
I feel that.
I will play it eventually when I get my Switch back.
Mhm. Yeah, well that's really good. Yeah. And oh god, what other games have I been playing recently? Um oh my god, I for a little like I believe it or not, I'm not sure anymore about how I feel, but I like Fortnite as well.
Oh, Fortnite is
I've
the
been
best,
dabbling
man.
into that. So recently, I don't know if you've heard, they just took they got rid of trios
Oh, really?
and they put in ranked. Yeah, they put in ranked matches for Fortnite. And I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Is it ranked for
So
like building or ranked for
both.
Okay.
So they have one for building and then they have one for no build.
Okay,
So
that's
it's
smart.
at least good. At least they thought that far ahead on it. But man, I was a little worried. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna lie. I was like, oh no, like trios is gone. Like no, this sucks. But apparently you could get around it by like just have disabling the slot and you can still have trios that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if that was meant to be there or not, but yeah, it is what it is.
I usually do
So,
play in squads anyway, so I'm not like the
oh,
most
okay.
out of it because I know some of the people I played
Mhm.
with, I really like playing the game. It's the best way to like play with some people I really want to hang out with. Um,
Mhm.
like I know Lunarina, I have a very fun time playing with her whenever I play Fortnite. Um,
Mhm.
because no offense to her, she's never been really great at those type of games, like shooters in general. But she
Uh-huh.
is a lot of fun to play with. Like I mean a
Oh,
lot.
good.
Um,
Yeah.
I know for my Apex tournament, I had her on my team, and even though I had to like really communicate more than I had to with other people. Because I had to
Mhm.
tell her where the stairs were and all that, and I'm not trying to embarrass her or anything. But yeah, you know, I have to do that sometimes. Um,
Of course.
but at it was a lot of fun. Like regardless, we didn't win, we didn't even come close, but god damn it, I had a lot of fun doing it. um,
Yeah, that's really like the big thing is as long as you're having fun,
mhm,
it doesn't matter if you're good at it or bad at it. It's at the end of the day, if you're having fun, that's what really matters.
mhm.
You know, I tried Valorant once and I
I can't.
hated it. And I uninstalled that game right after that. Like my friend was like, "Oh, you should try, you should play." And I'm like, "Okay." And I tried it and yeah, no, I uninstalled that as fast as I could.
I have never played Valorant. Valorant has never seemed like my type of game to play. Um,
Mhm.
Overwatch I used to play when I was younger. As in younger, I mean like when it first came out, like ninth grade for me, I think it was around that period of
Yeah,
time.
it's been out for a long time,
But
hasn't
even still, I don't really care to play it all that often. Like whenever I do, it's more or
it? Oh,
less with friends, and even then, it just I
yeah.
get bored really easily of it. Where like
Yeah,
Apex or
well,
Fortnite, I have fun with.
yeah, it's just kind of like I don't know. I guess like and that's okay. Sorry, I'm gonna go on a little rant here about Overwatch. Overwatch 2. What the fuck, Blizzard? Were you thinking of hyping this game up as a oh we're gonna have a PVE and then telling people oh never mind we're not gonna have that anymore? Why? Why would you put the poor people like that? Like they tried so many people are probably wanting to play because of the fact that they could do it. It's like, well, if you weren't going to put PvE in it, then what's the point of it? It's just literally Overwatch 1. Like why did you make Overwatch 2 then? So,
hmm
it's like all the things that they implemented in that one, they could have just thrown in for, into Overwatch the first one, and they could have called it a day.
hmm
I'm like, "Bro, what is this? What is this?" So
I
that's my little rant.
I haven't really heard too much about that. I plan on watching
Mhm.
Moist's video on that because I saw it. Um, I think I saw it in like Trua's chat at first, and then I saw it on YouTube. I was just like,
Mhm.
I'll get to it when I have time. I don't have a lot of time at the moment, so I'm gonna wait until I can sit down and we'll properly watch it, find out what's going on. Because I don't keep up
Oh.
with Overwatch as much as people do.
Oh, yeah, no, that's another game. I tried it and I just don't enjoy super competitive games.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am not very competitive at all. Like for me, it's like, well, you're playing Fortnite, and I'm like, well, I don't play to compete to get number one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to I'm mostly doing the side quest and all that, just trying to collect the skins. Like
Yep.
that's all that matters to me. I don't care if I don't get first place. Like it's nice when you do, but it's not like my number one priority, And especially I like it because there's no build.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, all the people that build are sweat lords.
No,
It's crazy.
I have to laugh because a lot of my reason of playing Fortnite is because I am relatively decent in the game. Same with
Mhm.
Apex. Apex, I'm relatively good at the game. If I put a lot more time into each of the game, I probably could get really good. I just
Mhm.
don't put enough time in either because I get bored of the same game over and over again, and kind of makes me lose passion for it. So I end up wanting to play other games constantly. And I still do. Like whenever it comes on streams, I don't want to play Apex constantly. I don't want to play Fortnite constantly. I want to play like
Yeah.
Skyrim. I want to play
Mhm.
Skyrim modded, all that fun stuff. Play GTA on some points. Play Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Play
Mhm.
any anime game, Metal Gear Rising. Hell, I'll play WWE on stream if I wanted to. Just because I want to just have fun, and to me, those are the type of games I would have fun with. Um,
Yeah, exactly. It's all about just having fun.
Apex, I mean,
It,
Apex, I just can't do anymore.
Ye yeah, no, it's just like I just feel like those kinds of games where people get too sweaty, it's just like that ain't for me, you know? Like
Mhm.
I personally just can't can't do it at all. It's just nope. Because I just am not a competitive person.
Mhm.
So it's hard for someone who's not competitive to play a competitive game. And I
Yeah.
get frustrated because I'm like, why can't and of course I'm trying to learn the basics and I
Mhm.
can't because Mr. Sweaty over here is picking me off every single freaking chance he
Yeah.
can, so then I don't have a chance to really learn, and I
Mhm.
just don't. And I just get frustrated because I'm like, well, I'm not going to progress and I'm not getting better at it. At least in, some areas you know, I can at least grow and learn. And, that's what I liked about Fortnite is,
Mhm.
they don't really well, now they have ranked, but, I'm not, luckily they have the unranked area, which that I'm
Mhm.
cool with. Anything that has unranked stuff. Um, but like at least it keeps me on my toes, making me do different things and different challenges. And I'm not really there to like kill people. I'm like, oh, I have to go collect 5 fish.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll go do that now. And then oh, I died. Okay, well at least I got
Yeah.
my 5 fish. You know, that's like the biggest thing. So.
Yeah, I know with Apex, I 100% could have gotten pretty far. Um, I've always known that if I really put a lot more effort into it, I probably 100% could have gotten late master. I could have done that if I put more of my
Hmm.
time into it. But the only issue is whenever I get time, I want to play other games. I need to edit, or I'm at work,
Yeah.
or I'm just doing something completely different. And at the moment, whenever I play Apex, it's with a certain group of people, and I don't even get to play with them
Hmm.
often. So it's just like
Yeah.
I only get to play with them, and I don't feel like solo queuing. That's the issue. Is I just don't give a crap about solo queuing anymore. Where
Yeah. Yeah.
every time I solo queue, I kind of just get out of it and I play something else completely. Um.
Yeah, that's kind of like me with Dead by Daylight.
Mhm.
I only played that game with one other friend because he that's like his favorite game, and of course, like yeah, there's a lot of sweaty,
Mhm.
because I'm playing as a survivor with him, and of course, there's a lot of sweaty killers, but we have fun with it, right? Like we try to like laugh about it. We're like, oh,
Mhm.
look at this guy. They're trying to play for like $200 on the line or something, or 20 grand on the line. Like, look at them. It's what it's fun when you have it kind of presented that way, and that's
Mhm.
why I keep playing it because I'm like, okay, like it, it's at least we're trying to have fun. We're not there to like escape all the time. It's like okay, we die some of us escape, not all of us. It's just different every time. So that's what and I'm not there to like sweat it out and be like, "Oh, I got to like I have to survive every game." Like, it's just like, bro, if we survive, great. If not, okay, cool. Cool story.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
know. Dead by Daylight's something else because I never liked playing Dead by Daylight. I played it for what was the other game?
Mhm.
My friends really liked Smite and Dead by Daylight. I could
Yeah,
not get
yeah.
into either one of them. I dis did not despise them. I just had no interest in playing them whatsoever. Like, I have a lot of friends who
Yeah.
love the crap out of Dead by Daylight. I used to have a lot of friends
Mhm.
who love Smite. They would ask me to play once in a while. I'll be like, yeah, no, I'm good. Fucking good.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yep. I'm out. Peace out, home dog. Yeah, no, I get that, but I think it's just because my friends don't care. They're like, I'm not here to like win. I'm just here to have fun with friends. And that's I think what makes me play it and only
Mm-hmm.
play it with him is because I know he's not doing it to like win. He just doesn't care. He's just like, I'm just gonna have fun with it. Like I don't care. You know? So that's kind of the biggest thing. And we and of course, like you run into people that are like really nice killers, and then there are
Mm-hmm.
like, some that are sweaty, and you're like, what are you oh, they're playing for like $1 million. What the heck? And
Well, you
then
have the
yeah,
people who
that's
play and they just watch you do stuff. Like, no,
yeah.
just go ahead. I'm just gonna stay here, act creepy. Well, that's something I would do. Just like be Michael Myers and just stand right behind you.
Oh my god, stare you down and with the death stare.
Yeah, and
Oh
do nothing
god.
else. I'm not gonna attack you. I'm just gonna chase you and never attack you. I'm gonna just stand right there and wish all the best.
I feel that. I feel that, dude. Like we had someone like that. It was hilarious, just like staring us down. I'm like, stare me down harder. Stare me down. I dare
Mm-hmm.
you. But then of course I like run into some of the killers that like obviously are new and like they don't get anything and they're trying their hardest, right? They're trying their hardest. And like I at the end when we're like about to escape, I'm like, you know what? Like, you kinda can tell they're, like, defeated. I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna be nice, and I'm gonna let them kill me." Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'll let them put me on the hook and, like, find a like, be able so I'm like, "Hey, come here." You know, I'm, like, pointing. I'm like, "Put me on the hook. Put me on the hook." And they're like, What? What?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I think it's, like, those kinds of things where, you run into people that and especially, like, you run into killers who are willing to, like, help you with stuff. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, you need help? Like, here, like, let me I'll help you if you help me," which is
Mm-hmm.
really nice. So it's kind of cool that you can run into like different kinds of games like that, and I think it really does depend on the friends and the people you
Mm-hmm.
have with you. Playing by yourself sucks, but
Yeah.
playing with friends who just want to have fun, that's like the biggest thing for
Agreed.
me.
S-
Yeah.
So in terms of like games, we all have like phases, right?
Hmm.
Where we have like for me it's like Sims 4 and Minecraft. I go through phases
Ooh.
with those where all
Hmm.
of a sudden my brain starts like, you know what, I really want to do this. So I go into it and it lasts like 2 or 3 days and then I stop playing completely for like another year. Just
Oh my
because there's
god, I feel that.
do you have any games like that?
Oh my god, where do I start? Yes, there's so many games like that. So many. Like Stardew Valley is a great one where I can play it for like hours and hours and
Mm-hmm.
days. And then I just like I drop it and then I'm like, okay, I'm ready for like the next thing. Right now that's like Honkai for me. Since I got to the end of the story, I've been kind of just going on to do like my daily stuff and then like leaving. And it's like it's weird, right? Because I know when the story comes back, I'm gonna be immediately hooked back
Mm-hmm.
onto it. I'm gonna be like, okay, like gotta do hours, gotta do this, gotta do that, blah blah blah. And I think those kinds of things really, like it's so funny like how many games I can tell you like Fortnite was like that for a while. Um gosh, there's just so many things I could say that so many games that just get me hooked. Like and I think it's just like I don't know, I'm just really enjoying it. I'm like I'm going to play it. Like Legend of Zelda, once I get my hands on that Tears of the Kingdom, oh my god, the amount of hours I'm probably going to put into that game and then like not touch it after I finish it like after a long time and then I'll like pick it up again and just like put hours into it again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll be like, I want to restart from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many games that I personally do that with,
Yeah.
like on a daily basis. That's just me.
I mean, that's pretty much what everyone. You always have those few games you love playing and then you kind of get bored of. I know I'm getting back in my Minecraft phase because I've been watching a lot of
Hmm.
Minecraft content, which is usually
Yeah,
the very
yeah.
first like key that oh, in like a week I'm gonna be starting to play Minecraft again. Like,
Yeah, that's me with Minecraft too. I've been getting back into it recently because I have a friend server. They were like, "Hey, you should play on it." I was like,
mm-hmm.
"Okay," and I started playing on it. And I'm like, "Oh
I don't even play on servers.
no."
I just play like survival and then I go back to my usual way.
Yeah,
Like I don't even play to hit the Ender
yeah.
Dragon. I just keep on playing and then I switch to creative mode to build something and I just stop.
Yup, yup. It's so funny because right now my thing is like Pixelmon,
mm-hmm.
and oh my god, I love that. I love that mod so much for Minecraft. It's refreshing, it's different, and
Mm-hmm.
of course it's Pokemon. And the creators of it have done an amazing job. Like it's just so unique, so refreshing. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what really gets me back into the game is like I'm like, okay, I've already done like the generic stuff. Like I want to go and do something different now.
Mhm.
So I think the different kinds of mods and things like that really help too. I think it's great that, they have that functionality, which I think that's why I play games. Like I can probably pick up a game, play it for hours, put it
Mhm.
down, and then like a few like months down the road, I pick it up again and I'm playing it. Is I think things like that make it
Mhm.
so much fun. And I think I have the same trait as like my father because my dad's the same way where he'll like right now his game that he still to this day plays for 3 years 3 years straight, like every day, is Fallout 76. That is like his game.
No way.
Yeah, like he is a huge Fallout 76. Like he
He must be
loves
the
that game.
only one though. There's
No, there's a lot of people on there. I mean, of course he was like, yeah, at first it kind of sucked, right?
Mhm.
But they've been adding stuff to it and it's actually like I've looked at it and I'm like, okay, like I can see why. And I think like for him, he just likes how much building you can do in it now. Like
Mhm.
he's actually created a vault
Mhm.
where it's literally hell. Like actually hell. It's crazy. Like he's got like this like demon and like fire and bodies everywhere. Like it looks like hell. And it's hilarious because he's just like, yeah, I just wanted to get creative and like express myself. So let's like do something really crazy. And like some random dude like walked in and was like, what the actual fuck is this? Like
I
just
just
some
want to
random
be
person,
I just want to be true
you
to
know?
myself, murdering a bunch of people. I just want to be true to myself.
Exactly. Yeah, he's just like having fun with it, Like that's the biggest thing, And I think it's great cuz it keeps him creative. He just loves to build and mod in that game. And
Mhm.
that's like why he still to this day is playing it.
I told a bunch of my friends this. I've actually gotten very addicted to WWE 2K23 ever since I got it.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is. So my favorite match of playing that has always been Hell in a Cell. And I don't know
Mhm.
what I'm doing in this match. Like, if I saw this in real life, I'll be like, oh my gosh, why the fuck are they doing this? But in the game, I like let people climb up and I just throw them up the cell constantly.
Oh my
I'm just
Oh
like,
my
oh, you
god.
you you thought you were over? Go back down there, bitch. And then
Oh my
I'll
god.
lose the match because I'm dicking around too much and they punch me right through the cell.
Honestly, if you really like WWE, I need to introduce you to Damien Alu. They're big, like they love those kinds of games.
hmm
Love those games.
I
That's
know
like their thing.
I plan doing like fun streams. So like when movies come out, I might do a WWE
Mhm.
game because I kind of want to do like when Fast Furious comes out, which comes out this
Mhm.
weekend. But I want to do like a video or a stream where I have like a WWE match chain Vin Diesel, just like 10 different dominant Toretto's fighting everyone else.
There you go. Just like you could put anybody in there. You could just like be
hmm
like, "All right, here we go. We're putting in like it's crazy. I really like how like a lot of them have that customization too because
hmm
people get so creative with it. It was like I think it was like Soul Calibur, I think it
Oh
is,
yeah, Soul
where
Calibur.
the customization for that is insane.
It really is.
Insane.
I
It's
watched a lot
just
of
kind
Moist
of
Critical streams during that period of time where people made like actual like god tier creations.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just kind of like it's I think that's what makes it enjoyable, right?
hmm
Is because you can customize.
Oh yeah.
And I think that can just really put a lot of people, especially creativity wise, I think that's what like gets a lot of people interested in it
hmm
is because of that. That like creativity that you can do all so many things with it. I think that's awesome,
Oh yeah.
you know. So, and I personally like games like that too, where you can be as creative. And that's why I keep going back to Minecraft because it's just the amount of creativity you can put in it
Mhm.
is awesome. I mean, the fact that literally you can build a goddamn actual phone
Mhm.
in Minecraft and call someone to order a pizza, it's kind of crazy.
I know
Like to me
creativity.
personally.
I know creativity in games are very prevalent, but creativity in real life kind of transfers over that as well. So when it comes to like
Yeah.
your streams, do you have like any creative ideas like for future streams you want to try and implement?
Oh yeah. I mean, I have so many things I would love to do, but like just I'm just very limited to what I
Mhm.
can do. Just because like, I don't really make a lot in what I do, but
Yeah.
it's one of those jobs that's more passion than for money's sake.
Mhm.
But also just anything like I'm still very, very new to it. I just did it as a hobby for a long time. I didn't really put much thought or effort into it until recently, like a year ago. I was like, oh, wait, wait a minute. Like people actually like what I do. I like last year I went from like 600 followers to like over 3,000 in a
Yeah.
year. And I was like, huh? Because of course I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just like, I'm just doing it for fun, right?
Mhm.
And so I would love to do like some IRL content where like if I go anywhere and I'm just like I want to like stream it.
Mhm.
So I would love to get something where I can like stream that. That would be really fun just because, it's to me, I want to do more than just gaming.
Mhm.
I would love to do some like cooking streams as well. Like that would be a lot of fun. I am planning on doing like some videos down the road for like YouTube and all that. I'd like to
Mhm.
do some like fun games with like a bunch of my friends and like do some goofy little challenges for them. Like I would love to do things like that. And I think like Twitch is a great place for me to just do like the gaming aspect, but also I can do like other things. And I definitely want to get more in the IRL side since I used to be an IRL content
Mhm.
creator for a long time until I was like, wait, I don't have to show my face anymore. Hey, I'll do that. So
Hey.
yeah. Hey, that sounds like my kind of tea, like right here. Um, but yeah, and that's why like people are like, Liz, like, have you ever shown your face? I'm like, yeah, I do. Like
Mhm.
I've done IRL. Like I'm not afraid to hide it, like that's that's the biggest thing, you know?
I just
That's
imagine
like my
people like
biggest thing.
people ask you do a face reveal. You're like, okay. Turns on your camera. Hey, get the fuck
Yeah.
out of here now.
Yeah. No, I'm like, go look at my clips. They're
Mhm.
there.
It's
They're
on
there,
like your number one clip of all time is a
Yeah.
face reveal one. So.
Mhm. Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. So I think it's really cool. To be kind of I want to incorporate the IRL side a little bit more, but I've just been so limited to what I can do. And of course, like I wasn't planning on this becoming like a career at
Mhm.
all. It was more of a hobby at the time. And then, so I'm like, oh, I'll just do games and, make a few people smile. Like that's all I really wanted to do. And then, I ran into some luck, a little bit of luck where, I had people who are just like, you know, just
Mhm.
here kind of being like, "Hey, like you're actually entertaining. Like we need to have like I want you to be successful." And I was like, "Me? Bro. I
Mhm.
like what?" So, I think that's what makes it so cool. And now I'm like, "Oh shit, I have to go and like figure out what I can do and how I'm going to like make this successful." So now I'm like starting to get out of that phase of, okay, now that I know I can do this, now I want to do more. So that's what
Mhm.
I'm planning on is hopefully some IRL stuff. It's kind of just right now like thinking about what I want to do, and I would love to do videos with like friends and put them like do some fun competitions and things like that. I think that would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I know one thing I always have to keep in mind to myself is trying to make sure I have motivation to kind of be able to get through those type of things. I know recently I had like a very creative block that happened, but I was also
mhm,
working two jobs at the time. So obviously that
mhm,
was going to happen. Was I was putting a lot of stress on there, didn't have a lot of time to become creative. Um
mhm,
and then when it came to content creation, during that period of time, my channel started popping off faster than I thought it would. I made a video
mhm.
before I started my second job of a My Hero video, and it popped off immensely on my channel. That I went from like 200 subscribers to like 500 out of like a month. Um,
Wow.
and I never was able to capitalize on that because I was too busy with everything else. I'm like, well, fuck.
Mhm.
Like, I wish I did
Yeah.
capitalize on it, like truly, because I haven't posted too much on my channel in a month. But at the end of the day, it
Yeah.
comes from roadblocks, and creativity kind of does have a demotivation feel. Do you ever, when it
Mhm.
comes to like roadblocks, do you ever get those during content creation? I mean.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't, right?
Mhm.
It happens every now and then where like I've had plenty of it and I still to this day. I recently had one where I was like, shoot, what do I want to do? And even like sometimes I don't even come up with a plan B. So then I'm like, crap, what do I want to do today?
Mhm.
And sometimes I just won't even stream because I'm like, well, I don't know what I want to do. So it's kind of sometimes it can be struggling, but if you notice you're kind of having that like block, take a step back and
Mhm.
really just focus on, okay, like being like, okay, I've hit a dead end. What is everyone else doing? Like,
Mhm.
and I start to kind of do research and I'll watch other like friends of mine, especially anyone who's, you know, anyone on like Twitch or
Mhm.
YouTube, any of those platforms. And I like to go and see kind of like, what are they doing?
Mhm.
What is going on? And that usually can help kind of guide me to figure out what I should be doing. Cause
Mhm.
then I'm like, oh, I like this idea they have. Let me like take this idea and then I'll like turn it and then I'll be like, but I can make this, better my own thing. And I'll take that idea and kind of like try to transform it into, my own unique thing. And so I've been getting all these ideas and sometimes just seeing someone else doing something can help trigger that get you out of that roadblock, right?
Mhm.
And trigger that creativity again. Where you're like, "Oh my god, I could do what they're doing, but I'm going to do it this way."
Mhm.
Instead of point A, which is what they're doing, I'm going to do point B. And I think that's what is really cool to help with that kind of creative block is sometimes just looking at your other friends, see what
Mhm.
they're up to. Any favorite content creators, see what they're up to, see what they're doing.
Mhm. I know there's been a couple things I want to try and get into in terms of like streaming content. Streaming content I became a little more passionate about. 'Cause I have a lot of ideas. I just can't enact them until like I move
Yeah.
out. Cuz I have a lot of like I want to do VR streams. I want to do a lot of VR Skyrim stream where I have
Mhm.
the what was it, the Chat GPT mod. And I go around interacting with all the NPCs in just an
Mhm.
IRL body, and people see that. Or play Beat
Mhm.
Saber on stream, do a VR chat stream, or something like that. I would love to do streams like that. I just don't have the space with it in my room. And the corner
Yeah.
I have in my room is pretty much the corner I have to work with.
Mhm.
Where if I move out, I'll have more room to work with. I'll be able to do
Mhm.
cooking streams more often. I will be able to do what was the other? I want to do kayaking streams this summer, golfing streams, and
Ooh.
since I have a GoPro, I
Mhm.
could do those.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You just gotta, come up with some ideas and, kind of start planning how you're gonna, execute that plan. That's like the biggest thing is
Mhm.
you come up with the idea, but now you have to think like always do it months in advance, come
Yep.
up with an idea and start kind of testing that idea. Kind of figure out if that idea is going to work or not cuz sometimes it like I know I'm notorious for procrastination. I'm just very bad about it,
Mhm.
but man, does it help when you plan in advance and it just makes things run so much smoother.
Mhm.
So much smoother. So, that's kind of what I like to tell people is always come up with a plan and then try to figure out a way to execute that
So I do know when it comes to VTubers in general, one thing I
plan.
have noticed when VTubers are a VTuber, one of the big things I notice is they go through some comments from people where it's
Mhm.
overly
Mhm.
sexualizing, such as like I know I have noticed from your model has boobas. And the
Big
boobas
personalities.
are very very open and very humongous. Like you have a
Mhm.
very big personality. Um well, in both ways. Um,
Personalities. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
I have
and
a big personality and personalities.
exactly. But with that, whenever you have a model like that, people come in overly sexualizing, or they might have rude comments towards you. And I
Mhm.
do know you get those. I usually ask, do you get those? And I do know you have gotten them because on Twitter,
Oh yeah.
you posted from several people, but the one I'm gonna bring up is the latest one, where someone called you a fatherless, homeless VTubers.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, first of all, I just have to say that was on a Minecraft short that I had of my model and I think that one didn't even show anything. It just showed my head, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. And because like we learned that Twitch doesn't like booba for whatever reason. So my editor and I were coming up with ideas and like ways to get more views on the videos, and we're like, oh okay. But one of the things is that for that comment, I think it was just some kid on my that likes Minecraft and just didn't like the fact that there was like this like anime chick like doesn't like VTubers. So they always like come up with like these dumb things. I was like, first off, I'm not fatherless. Like, you got that wrong. My father is great. And secondly, like, if I was homeless, I wouldn't be making fucking content. Like, bro, you like, no offense, but like, most people that are homeless usually don't have the capability to stream,
Mm-hmm.
like, at all, because they're not gonna have internet or anything. So it's possible too, but but when most people they say they're homeless but they're streaming, it's because they're staying at someone's house. But like
Mm-hmm.
being truly homeless, like you're not gonna have that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of funny to just to like get comments like that. Now mostly on Twitch is where I really get like
These
the
sexual
comments.
ones.
Yeah, like the other day, I forget what it was. There was this one comment. I was like, that's the first thing you have to say in my chat. Oh, I remember now. It was, they asked me the first time chatter asked if these boobs that I have, my booba on this model, were the same as in real life. And I went, sir,
Hmm.
why does that matter to you if my boobs are big or small? First off, it doesn't matter. It's a freaking cartoon. You
Mm-hmm.
think I'm gonna have boobas this big? Like, there are women who have boobs this big, but like, you like that's the first question you have to ask is if
Yeah.
my boobas are really that big. And when you get people like that, like I get a lot of people who come in and they're like booba, and I'm like, yeah, I paid a lot of good money for these. Thank you for noticing.
Mm-hmm.
It's all you sometimes gotta like make a joke out of them
Mm-hmm.
because if you kind of make them kind of a joke and into content, because you know that if they're saying it to you, they're gonna say it to other people. And
Mm-hmm.
this is something that my dear friend like he is like a big brother to me. Kitty McPancakes. Love that man to death. Like he is a sweetheart, and I'm so happy to have gotten to know him and become really close with him as like a friend. And he's the one who taught me like, hey, just make it into content, turn them
Mhm.
into the joke, because
Oh
then
yeah.
if you make them feel so miserable of their comment, then they're not gonna wanna like come. They're not gonna want to do it to anyone else. You
Mhm.
know, make them an example, make them into the joke, and because if they don't enjoy it, they're not going to do that to anyone else.
Mhm.
So I think that's the most important thing
Like there's
is, make a joke out
there
of them.
there is a limit on that as well. Like obviously you're gonna have rude comments, and usually with those, because I've had people,
Mhm.
um, so I don't get the sexualizing comments. Don't like I am not the most. My avatar is not the most sexualizing creature you ever see on the planet. It's far
Mhm.
from like, and myself personally, I don't really see myself as a very person who would be sexualized often, because I don't really think
Mhm.
I'm that good looking. Like
Mhm.
bias aside, to from other people, like if other people find me attractive, that's their priority, not mine. Um,
Mhm.
but when it comes to all of that, I get more rude comments because of my voice. I have a part paralyzed
Mm.
tongue, which makes it very hard to pronunciate words sometimes. Where sometimes it comes across
I
really
feel
poorly,
that.
and I've
Mhm.
had several videos where like I would notice it after I release the video because I watch it and like, oh
Mhm.
god, I just completely botched this word. Where I've started completely noticing it a lot more, but on like
Mhm.
several videos, I've had people like criticize my voice, and I've gotten to the point where it doesn't really hurt me anymore. Because I've
Mhm.
gotten used to it. Like nothing you can say can hurt me more than what I can say, because that's already stuff I've already said to myself. Um,
Mhm.
so most of the time it doesn't really affect me. But I've had people on like the My Hero video where I talked about the ending, not the actual ending of the series because it hasn't ended, but the
Yeah.
way I wanted to end. And the way I wanted to
Mhm.
end is with Deku dying, and not
Oh,
not because
yeah.
I hate Deku. Like that's the one thing that I had comments like, "Oh, you just hate Deku." I'm like, "No, I actually kind of like Deku." I'm like the guy
Yeah,
who
it's
doesn't love him but doesn't hate him. I'm not like Natsuki, who is
yeah.
openly like, "I hate this guy." No, it's just like he's an
Mhm.
enjoyable character. He's a very mid-tier character for a reason. He's enjoyable. Like I'm not gonna dislike him because he's a
Yeah.
crybaby. But I think for the end
Mhm.
of his character, if they were to just kill him off at the end, would it make sense? Somewhat. I spun it in a way that it could make sense, because in I've had people be like, "Well, in the anime, he's talking about becoming the world's greatest hero, and that's obviously his adult version." I'm like, dude, you can spin it in a lot of ways, more than you know, because the way I looked at it, in terms of
Mhm.
spinning it, was he does become the world's greatest hero because of his sacrifice. Um,
Mhm.
and that's how I spun it, was that he ends up putting a smile on everyone's faces. He does this by sacrificing himself. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a very
I think
sad ending, but it's a great ending.
yeah. But
But
it's a great yeah, he still gets to achieve the goal
mm-hmm,
he wants as well as doing it in such a cuz like you don't see that very often where
mm-hmm.
like
Especially with
the
shonen.
main person yeah, you don't see the main person die off like ever. It's always kind of just like okay, it's and it's not just like in shonen or anything. It's like a lot of series are like that where they don't like there's not many where the main person dies off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's beautiful. I think that's why to me Kogias was so
Yeah.
good,
Well, I don't
right?
think Kogea's ending is just the greatest ending in all of
Oh,
anime.
yeah. Like, it was just so beautifully done of how they wrapped it up and how they did the ending. And I wish there were more like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh, like they're the main character, like, oh, they're alive, like happy ending, like everyone lives happily. It's just like, okay, we've already seen like a
Mm-hmm.
bazillion of these. It would be great if they
Mm-hmm.
ended it. I think that's a great like perspective because he wants to be the world's greatest hero. That's how you can be the world's greatest hero, is him not only stopping the baddest villain, but also
Mm-hmm.
giving the ultimate, the ultimate thing, the ultimate price, and sacrificing himself for the greater good. And like, I think, you know, you like that's also a way to be a hero, right? Like, isn't that,
Mm-hmm.
in everyday life, like, you hear about people, they're like, oh, they died a hero and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I think would be great for him. I agree with that
And I
wholeheartedly.
understand a lot of people like I made a laugh joke about this and like when I explained it further. 'Cause I did two videos on this. I did a YouTube short that did
Hmm.
very well and like an extended version. Like I go over the
Hmm.
story and I made sure people know, hey, I know this is not gonna happen, but this would be really cool. This is a cool idea that would never come to pass. And I made that very
Hmm.
clear. Um in the video that I doubt this is gonna ever happen. Like, there's no way Horiko's gonna go this way. And most of the
Yeah.
comments I got were one of three comments. People saying, no, I don't want that ending. And usually they'll take people who want happy endings like, oh, Deku ends up with Ochako. Deku ends up with Bako. It's those type of people. The people who want him to be with someone. And
Oh yeah, the shippers.
which is
Yeah.
understandable, I guess. But I've had people go about this in a different way. The other comment I heard a lot was, "Well, this is not unique." And my reply to almost every one of those, whenever I did reply to them, was, "If you want a unique ending, you're never gonna get one."
Hmm.
I'm putting that right out here. Like I never claim that this is a unique ending because it's far from it. Because there's like people point out, it's like very similar to the Dragon Ball Z Cell Saga ending, how Goku died. Shocker. But in a similar way, where he sacrificed himself, but he doesn't really die. Cell doesn't die completely. It's a weird thing. But it's like, I want that to happen, but there's no second chance for Deku. Deku's gone. The villain's gone. And that's how
Hmm.
you end it, is you have them both gone. People point out it's
Hmm.
like the Dark Knight Returns movie, that one, I think Rises, whatever it's called, where it had
Hmm.
Bane in it, where Batman sacrificed himself, but he doesn't really die. I like the idea of like that being the new symbol of peace. Is this hero did this, and I made a comment
Yeah.
in the extended version. You don't really need to have any other characters die. You can just have Deku die, and I would actually like the ending, because that would mean you took a
Hmm.
lot of balls to do that, like genuinely.
Yeah.
Because no, it's not unique. No, if you go to like Attack on Titan, if you go to all those, of course, stuff like that. I shouldn't like seinen types anime or rom-coms. There's sometimes where they have the main character die. Shonen, you
Hmm.
will never see that. Like I think the only time you see
Hmm.
that was like Goku, but he doesn't die.
Yeah, he
um.
comes. There's some magical thing that prevents
Mm-hmm.
him from dying. It's like,
And
you're like, man,
you can't really bring
because
that up.
how many times has he died? Like,
I've had people
it's one of those.
I've had people bring up like the Spider-Man Miles Morales game. Like, I don't know what. I've never played this game. Like, half the endings, I'm like, dude. When I came up with this ending, I had none of that in mind because it's a different ending in my eyes. Because
Yeah, yeah.
it would fit the ending of My Hero. It's something no one would expect. It is something that's semi-unique for shonen, and on
Hmm.
top of that, it's not a happy ending. And a happy ending should be fit for like romances. I love a happy ending in a romance. Don't get me wrong. Because usually when it's a sad ending, I'm crying like a little bitch.
Hmm.
But those are also really good. Like you can have a happy ending. There's like shows that I want happy endings for. High Q, you get a happy ending, but the story arc you get a very fucking depressing ending. It's really
Hmm.
good. I love what Haikyuu did with their ending. I'm not gonna spoil it because obviously, but I love
Yeah, yeah,
Haikyuu.
yeah.
Like if you read the manga, you know what I'm talking about. I love the ending of the tournament because that is a fantastic way to end it, and it's very depressing. Um,
Hmm.
well, people can probably interpret what I'm getting at, but that isn't the interpretation. The interpretation that people are interpreting right now are probably not the depressing part I'm speaking of.
You gotta keep it,
Mm-hmm.
keep a surprise, and if you want to really know what happens, you
Just read
gotta,
the manga.
I don't know, watch it,
Mm-hmm.
read it.
So I want to quickly I know we're running slightly out of time. I want to
Hmm.
quickly go over a couple things. And that's
Yeah, yeah,
regarding
yeah.
VTubing. I ask the
Hmm.
question a lot, but what are some pros and cons to you of VTubing?
Well, one of the pros, probably is the fact that, you get to not have to wear pants. You can literally not have to wear makeup, don't have to do your hair.
Mm-hmm.
There's none of that kind of stuff. You can just roll out of bed and you look great. Like no matter what. Like no matter what, you're in shape or anything. Like I think that's really cool. I like the fact that and also I think one of the also the cool or pros, sorry, not cons. Pros is that you can be whatever you want to be. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so cool and I think it's great that people can be so creative, and the amount of creativity I have seen out of people, it's amazing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that is genius, right? Like, I think it's great that people can be whatever or whoever they want to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the cons of it is unfortunately it's such a saturated field. It's really hard to get out there,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um it's hard to get noticed, and I think being especially VTuber nowadays, it's gonna like for people who are successful, it's a lot of luck, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of connections that you make. That's the biggest thing, is knowing who and who's what and where. Um, Maybe being lucky and becoming friends with some like really big names out there
Mm-hmm.
can really help out as well. Um, I mean, it's just there's so many things that can make it really hard to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is, unfortunately, because it's once again saturated, it's going to bring a lot of bad eggs into the group.
Yeah.
People who just want to get rich and famous and
Mm-hmm.
don't care about who they end up stepping on, or who like and that's the thing I notice is it's very it can be very, very toxic of an environment.
Mm-hmm.
There can be a lot of drama,
Yep.
is what I see, especially mostly on Twitter. Of course, Twitter's like the worst place to be. Like, God forbid. Like, I swear, if I get big enough, I'm getting rid of Twitter. Like, if I don't have to use it to like promote my stuff anymore, I will gladly get rid of it, because it's just so toxic. And I think that's where a lot of them tend to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think uh it's just like they're that's like my biggest issue, is probably the drama in the VTubing community. Like people just always have something to shit on somebody or something,
Mm-hmm.
or so and so is not who they are made out to be. And that can be really scary for a lot of people. Like a lot of people are trying to like socialize and reach out, and of course they see like they're like, "Oh, look at this person's like not as good as a person,
Mm-hmm.
can't be friends with, like, I don't know who to trust." And I think that can be really hard on the community. Also, one of my other cons I would have to say is probably the fact that it's so gatekeepy, and
Yeah.
especially artist wise, one of my biggest complaints is I feel like artists only draw mostly just white females. Like, because like there's this problem for guys to find someone to make a male model,
Mm-hmm.
and they draw them like usually males, like they'll draw them like buff and like this alpha kind of like, or omega kind of like body build, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
just like not everyone wants that, right? And of course, that's like a big problem is like and some artists don't even they're like straight up are like, no, we don't draw males. It's like, why? Like, what the hell? And then also, like, of course, people of color. Like, I think that's kind of crazy. Like, how much I've seen of my friends who have gorgeous skin colors and the fact that they have to get their models whitewashed.
Mm-hmm.
Uh and they get frustrated by it. And it's like I think like people should be able to be what they want and not just a like one like certain kind of like one kind of thing, like one
Mm-hmm.
particular thing. I think it would be nice to see everybody be included no matter your race, your religion, like skin color, like gender. I think everybody should be included. And the
Mm-hmm.
fact that it feels so exclusive can be really it's just it's almost like in a sense like indirectly like I feel like VTubing is indirectly racist.
Mm.
And that's what I don't like about it. That's like my biggest problem
I
is how it feels that way sometimes.
I know for myself, I have thought about becoming a VTuber many times. I still might. Don't
Mhm.
get me wrong. I have genuinely thought turning my newest model into like a VTuber model. I have friends who
Mhm.
do because I mean it. My newest version of me is actually like 100% close to me, except maybe the
Mhm.
hair. My hair is usually
Mhm.
like a lot more slipped back, I guess. But everything else,
Mhm.
like from where I wear to that, is almost identical. And I wouldn't mind getting a
Mhm.
VTuber model. But I just haven't really had a desire to get one. 'Cause
Yeah.
I do know one thing I have noticed when it comes to like VTubers, and this is not like a criticism to anyone, um, is that I have noticed VTubers stick in like a group, like a pack.
Yes.
Where it's
Yeah.
very hard for someone like me who is a PNG tuber, or sometimes I do face cams. It's very hard for me
Mhm.
to be a part of like those type of communities because I'm not technically a
Mhm.
VTuber, so and that,
Yeah.
and
That's
it's a
that's a good
different thing,
point.
and it's not
Mhm.
really a criticism because I don't really mind it. I'm not a VTuber. I'm not gonna say like, why can't I be in the community? Because I'm not in any community
Mhm.
right now. I have pointed out many times that I kind of left the community I was part of a long time ago,
Mhm.
just because I started like noticing I wasn't really wanting to be there too much. Not because there was people I
Mhm.
didn't care for, not because of that. It was just because I felt more distant from people. And since I got
Mhm.
more busy and I wanted to focus on my own stuff, that I decided I want to build my own community.
Mhm.
Which is fine. And I kind of completely left several communities. I'm still in people's streams who are I was once part of the community and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
I've kind of gone away from that because I just wanted to do my own things at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm not really
Mhm.
the type of person who wants to go into communities and join them anymore. I'm the type of person who wants to go into a community and be like, oh, I want to talk to you. You seem interesting, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely, whenever I go into someone's stream, if I like you, I'm gonna be chatting. If I don't like you, you'll never see me. um,
Yeah.
and if I,
Yeah.
that's the point of it. Like, and it used to be like when I had a
Mhm.
lot more wealth, because I still have some, but when I used to
Mhm.
be a little bit more generous, um another thing would be like I'll give you 5 subs, and that's usually, hey, like it's nothing much, but like I genuinely like you, here you go, you deserve this. And most of them
Mhm.
still do. It's just I don't have the type of money to keep on doing that.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
I'm not a fucking billionaire. um but I generally enjoy it. If I see you, if I'm in your chat constantly, that means you are some sort of you're a good person. 'Cause I usually am a very good judge of character. There's been several people I probably would never be in their streams because I can kind of tell off their character a little bit. And there's
Mhm.
some people I've talked to that I don't go to their streams every day, but I do like
Mhm.
try to go there as soon as I can. I do generally enjoy
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But if I do not follow you or I do not talk to you, usually I have nothing that I think I want to, or I just don't know you. That's another big thing that
Yeah.
does happen. I just don't know you. Um,
Mhm.
so there's people I haven't really discovered yet, because I can go on like Twitch page and be like, oh, there's a VTuber I've never talked to, or hey, there's a streamer I've never even heard of, and that still happens. But there's VTubers I have heard of that I probably won't go into them because I got on the one stream and was not the most excited because I figured they could cause drama or something like that. 'Cause I do know
Mhm.
a couple people. I'm not pointing out names. That I do know would cause drama for me, and at the end
Oh
of the day,
god.
I don't want that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I want to keep myself away from drama because I'm not a drama person. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been in a drama except maybe one time, and even then it lasted like 2 seconds.
Mhm.
Because as soon as the drama happened, the person who was originally the drama was about came out and was just like, "What the fuck? How is this a drama?" and like saved me.
Yeah.
But
I get that. I get that. It's dude, it's just I swear, I feel like some people are just so bored and they
mm-hmm,
just have to stir the pot, right? In
mm-hmm.
one way, shape, or form.
And when it,
And you made a great point too. I really hate how it's like they feel like only VTubers can hang out
mm-hmm,
with VTubers, and I'm like, dude, if I like you, I don't care if you're a PNG, if you're an IRL, if you're a VTuber, like I don't care if I'm cool with you, like I would love to do collabs. Like I do collabs all the time with so many of my IRL friends, my
mm-hmm,
PNG friends, like I do it all with them because I'm like, if I like you, like I don't care, right?
mm-hmm,
At the end of the day, I don't care. If you're a good person, then you're a good person. I don't care if you're IRL or what.
mm-hmm,
And I think that's kind of one of the things I really don't like is how kind of they don't really like it's kind of almost like the VTubing community is like a giant clique in a sense. And
mm-hmm,
especially like luckily there's a lot of us who are very open and like very cool, about that. I mean, I do a podcast with someone who's an IRL streamer,
mm-hmm,
like I don't care. Like we're hopefully going to get, some people who are IRL on the podcast as well. It's just we just haven't had the chance or the time, and also it's very difficult since, like we have to it's very particular people we would have to find that are like close enough that
mm-hmm.
could, be there. But
Plus, I would imagine for your podcast in general for IRL people, they have to show up IRL.
yeah, exactly.
And
So it's just
that's very,
like
because I know where this takes place in Evan's room, right? So you
mhm,
have to know someone who you can trust. You be like, oh, they're in my area. I can trust them by
mhm.
giving my ID, like my address, or you can kidnap them again.
Yeah,
Which is something
exactly.
I would love
So
to do. Just like if Evan all of a sudden was to say, "Oh, I heard you're in this place. I'm gonna kidnap you, Kirk."
yeah, exactly. So it's just like I don't really care who or
Mhm.
what you are. If you're a cool person, then you're cool in my eyes. And I wish more would be like that, but
Mhm.
that's just unfortunately people no matter wherever you go, content creating or not, there's always going to be people who never grew out of high school.
Mhm.
Never grew out of high
And
school. And that's just unfortunately anywhere you go. Like it's not just like content creating.
mhm.
It's anywhere. I dealt with it at my last job that I worked at. Like it was like someone who was like my grandfather, like a man in his 70s, well in his 70s, was more acting like a high schooler than I was. I actually lived in an old person community because I was living with my grandparents at
Mhm.
the time. Oh my God. Old people, I'm just going to go off a little rant here. Old people are the most dramatic people I have ever
mhm.
witnessed. I mean, the fact that like they would just like they just love drama, and it's
Mm-hmm.
because they're just so bored with their lives. So they're like, "Oh, did you see like Michelle with her dress? Oh my gosh, did you see her ankles? Oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, what does she think she is?" Or they're like, "Oh, did you see how Rachel had her paint done on her house and it was one shade too dark? Oh my gosh, she
Mm-hmm.
she can't I can't believe like it's that kind of stuff." And it's crazy to me how much drama the old people love. Like they are
Mm-hmm.
worse than high schoolers. It is so insane.
And the way I always look at that, because I'm a manager. I'm not gonna say it where most people know. If you're a connection to me, you know where I work. But to give anyone, I'm a manager at a customer service place, and I will not understand. Like I know a lot of old people has like wisdom. They've been here on Earth for a long period of time. Just be fucking smart, because I think the smartest people and the most wisest are not old people, and it's not young people. Obviously, it's people in their 40s. 30s and 40s are
Mhm.
usually some of the smartest people I've ever met in my life because they have
Mhm.
experience, they have knowledge, and they're able to utilize that properly. Where old people, yes, they've
Mhm.
been here long, but you have dementia. You're not gonna remember half the stuff. Um,
Yeah.
where you're
Yeah.
someone,
They're like, back in my day. And you're like, okay. And then they're like, yeah, I don't remember anything after that. And you're like,
mhm.
then why?
And I may not be like the smartest person. I never proclaimed to be like the smartest man alive. I am relatively
Mhm.
smart, yeah, and I am very hardworking. Like if I were to compare myself to like an old person at a job, I'm usually a
Mhm.
lot better than they are, but they're also older. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm a lot more smarter. I'm a lot more coherent with my words. I'm a little bit more able because I know a lot of the older people I have talked to at like a job or something always loves criticizing people, and I never understood why. It's just like,
Mhm.
dude, there's you and me, and you're over here bitching because you don't have a life, you know, um, or
Yep.
your wife
I
doesn't
feel
love you
that.
anymore. Like we had someone yesterday who came in and started cracking the worst jokes possible. They're like the type of person. Okay, these are the type of jokes he would make, and I'm not even like they weren't sexual, but to give you an idea, we made jokes about him in his bedroom why he doesn't get light anymore. Um, because one of the jokes we made is this is pretty much the joke he would make. Knock knock, who's there? Dick. Oh my who? My dick's inside you. Like that's his type of level of humor. It was miserable. Like it was like the most cringeworthy stuff you heard from a 4-year-old. It is legit
Oh no.
embarrassing, and he wouldn't stop. He was keep on making jokes similar to that. They weren't inappropriate, but they're very similar to that type of joke.
Yep. Yep.
So, and it was just like, dude, you're not funny. Get a different hobby, man. You're making our lives miserable.
I know, I feel that. Oh god, the amount like
Mm-hmm.
oh, old people, man, bless their hearts. I'm just like, bro,
Mm-hmm.
I hope that's not me
Mm-hmm.
ever.
And
Ever.
when I worked as a
Oh.
server, these two old people, like in their 70s, were so open. They started like their first like conversation with me. We started like getting conversations. That's usually what I did as a server. Was I'll communicate,
Uh-huh.
start conversations. They got too open with me, and let's just say I know their fetishes now. I did not need to
That's
know
another
that.
thing. Old people are way too much information. Like they give so much. Like they have no filter,
They really
and it's
don't.
like you lose your filter when you're older. Like I have seen it, and I am like my grandfather has said stuff where I'm like, Grandpa,
What the fuck?
don't say that. What the fuck? You know, I'm just like, what are you saying? And it's like, I do have to say, it does kind of make me giggle a little bit because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I hearing? And then at the same time, you're like, TMI, TMI, TMI. You know, it's just like, oh God.
So
Yeah, I've had that.
it's interesting you brought up your podcast because I wanted to go over that a little bit as well. It's called Friends with Benefits,
Yeah,
correct?
it was.
It was.
It was. So now we call it Wens,
Mm-hmm.
just because there were we had some people reach out that are in a more of a corporate setting and were interested because they were like, hey, we saw this. It looks like fun. We want to be a part of it. And of course, we're like, yeah, of course. Like, it would be great, like, to have you on. But then, of course, even though they want to, their management, on the other hand, might not be very happy with the name like Friends with Benefits,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they are considered very say so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's when we realized we were like, oh,
Oh fuck.
we we were like, well, we can kind of wing it and explain to them, being like, yeah, it's our friends. Like, we bring our friends onto the couch and they tell us all the wonderful benefits they get from, being a VTuber and like all
Mm-hmm.
the benefits of blah, blah, blah. Like we're trying to wing it at this point.
And
And
I can see where the name goes a little awry.
yeah. And of course, like when we were first coming up with like the name, because like Evan, the first encounter that we had with Evan, me, Usagi, and Evan, it was like hilarious, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
just jokingly like said, let's call ourselves friends with benefits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we weren't thinking anything of it at the time. It was just something funny. And then we were like, yeah, we should actually like make this into a real thing. And then we're like, oh, wow, actually, a lot of people really like what we have. Oh, shit. We need to like be able to like do more with it. We really like what we do. And we decided to make it a little bit more brand friendly as well. Cause like that was another thing is sponsors and all that. We
Mm-hmm.
want them to like get very we want sponsors to sponsor us so we can make money as
Mm-hmm.
well, like monetize our stuff so that way we can like pay for editors, we can like really improve like what we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was like the biggest thing is improving what we have.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided we were like, okay, we need to change the name. And I
Mm-hmm.
think Evan just like said, why don't we just call ourselves Wens? And I was like, that's beautiful. That's perfect. Let's keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of just stuck.
I
And then we rebranded to Fwens, you know?
mm-hmm. That's what I figured because I saw it like two different names. I'm like, I'm gonna go with the one that I see on like the video titles real quick, but I doubt
Yeah,
it's
those are
that
our
one.
first name. Yeah, that was the first name. And
Mm-hmm.
then we were like, you know what? We're gonna switch to something a little bit more easier,
Because I was very
you
confused
know?
about the title when I first heard. I'm like, huh, that's a fun title. Wait, I know what that
Yep.
means.
Yeah. So it's just like
Mm-hmm.
that's why we kind of rebranded our name in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make it a little bit more family friendlier, even though our content is still kind of a little unhinged, but
Mm-hmm.
um we're a little bit less crazy as we once were. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're a little bit more tamer than we used to be because me and Usagi especially, we were very unhinged. Um, but we've calmed down because we're like, okay, we gotta like be a little bit more careful
Mm-hmm.
because we're getting monetized and all this stuff. So that's kind of when the change was, all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, you know? So you love to see it, you know?
So
You love to see it.
whose idea was it to start the podcast?
I oh god. I think it was Evan.
Evan made the most sense to
Evan,
me.
yeah, Evan well, when we first like hopped on his stream, like
Mm-hmm.
he just had such a fun time. He said me and Usagi were the goats. He's like, I haven't had such a fun stream like that in such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, can we do this like once a week every week. And so we decided a day, we picked Tuesday. And we're like,
Tuesday.
yeah, we can do this. Just some fun shenanigans and all that. And then over time, like after a couple weeks, I think it was like a month into like after like being a part of it, he just like randomly went, you know what, we should like do a podcast and like invite like VTubers and
Mm-hmm.
people on. And we were like, yeah, that sounds great. And it was also like his kind of way of doing something kind of fun where he could introduce us to a lot of people he knows because he's like, I want you two to be very successful. You're very funny. Like, I want to help you. So it was also kind of a networking way too.
Mm-hmm.
So we did the podcast kind of just like nonchalantly. And then after a couple, like it was like 2 months in or something, after we kind of like really started doing it, he was like, we should like make this official.
Mm-hmm.
Official. So that's when we kind of did our actual episodes and everything, and that's kind of what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still a great networking source as well because I get to meet so many amazing, talented people, and I mean, these people, I can see why they are successful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are a lot of them very down to earth, very wonderful, very lovely. Um, just like a lot of the times after the podcast, we'll just be talking for hours, like afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, and of course, a lot of them are very like big people who have a lot of stuff, but they're like, hey, like if you ever want to like talk, like just let me know. Like, I've had so many of them give friend requests to me. They're like, hey, if you ever want to like just chat, like here, you can just chat with me. Like, if you ever want me to
Mm-hmm.
join in on a stream, just let me know. I'll hop in. I'll like whenever you need it. And I think that's really cool.
That's a lot of
Um,
fun.
yeah, and it's really nice because you get to meet so many wonderful people, and you're kind of like, because you're always afraid to meet people because they're like they have like this personality, right? Where it's
Mm-hmm.
like they have this on camera personality, and then off camera they're completely different. Um, that that's like for me where I'm just kind of like, I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
um, I just, it's just one of those things that for me personally, where I'm like, yeah, like you never want to meet your idols, like,
Yeah.
but then I kind of started to learn and realize, like, you know what, a lot of these people are very genuine, very
Mm-hmm.
genuine. So
I
also I see Davey in there.
yeah.
Hi, Davey.
I know. With this podcast, I love reaching out to new people. I love reaching out to people I've talked to already.
Hmm.
And like I said, I usually have been trying a lot more to have talks like these to people before the actual stream,
Hmm.
because I do want us to, like, I don't want our first interaction to be with chat and then all of a sudden we're skipping to this interview. I still want us
Yeah.
to kind of, I don't want you to be thrown off guard by my voice, for one. Not saying that
Hmm.
you're gonna be thrown off guard, but I don't want that. Two,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want
yeah.
any awkward moment that could come up. I want to have a proper conversation. Thank you for the follow.
Hmm.
Um, and with those conversations, because I've had 3 podcast episodes with Tausch Talks that I was gonna bring up to you in the stream. That I think this is actually pretty decent time. Those 3 are 3 reasons why I stopped Tau Talks in the first place. Um,
Hmm.
One was I was a very poor judge of character. One of them was
Hmm.
actually just kind of boring to talk to. It's not in a way that I don't like you. It's not in a way that you're boring as a person. It just your social cues make you boring, where you did
Yeah.
not understand what I wanted. And that's my fault. I wish I did calls with people to kind of tell them what to expect. But their answers were very one-handed answers, where it was very
Mm.
hard for me to
Yeah.
try and start. So I'll go through the question, I'm like, oh fuck, but he gave me no opportunity to actually prompt him the question. So I'll ask him like, oh, what made you decide to do YouTube? I watch a YouTuber. That's his answer. I'm like, okay,
Oh,
how am I gonna work with that?
yeah.
Where, like, if I were to ask you what's your passion, you probably would give me a list of your the reason. And I have questions off that.
Mhm.
Like, this entire stream is
Yeah.
exactly what I wanted. I didn't go through all the questions. Like, I can show chat. I have like hundreds of questions on here where I could have gone on and on. But I love the idea we went with. We had that. And then
Mhm.
the other one was very short. They gave me such short notice of that, oh hey, I can only be here for X amount of time. I'm like, well, I wish you told me that.
Oh.
Because now I have to manage that, and it fucked up. And the
Yep.
other one
Yep.
was a bigger streamer I had on, who did it last second, who was just like, I was
Mhm.
testing them like, hey, you want to come on? I can schedule for like a week and a half from now. They want to be on the next day, and I looked at them like, oh fuck. Well, I can't really say no, so I went with it, and that
Oh
fucked me over
no.
because I couldn't do questions I wanted. Didn't give him enough time to prep. We didn't have a call,
Mhm.
and that was our first interaction since Twitter, and that's
Oh.
what caused me to stop. Because from my
Mhm.
perspective, he seemed disinterested, and from my friend's perspective, he seemed disinterested, and I seemed very um upset about it.
Oh.
So, and that's just
I'm
kind of
so sorry.
it happened. It's in the past. I held no
Yeah.
grudges to the person at all. Like, that's how it
Mhm.
works. And that's why I do
Yeah.
these type of things, is to
Oh.
kind of get to know the person before I decide to say, hey, let's do this.
That's honestly a smart. Yeah, that's always a good thing is get to know them before before you invite them
mhm,
on or you have a thing cuz you want to make sure the chemistry is good, you know? That's like the biggest thing is making sure the chemistry is there,
mhm.
everything is, going in your favor, That's the biggest thing. So,
So I'm gonna end this interview with three more questions. And those questions are
mhm.
gonna be very simple. They're all gonna be semi-related to each other. It's all about your future. So you want to do a
Mhm.
lot of things in your future. We already talked about like some future creativity plans you want to do. But I was looking on Twitter, and one of the things I've noticed is some Twitter goals you had on there that you want to go accomplish by
Yeah.
2023. And
Mhm,
pretty much
mhm.
what I want to talk to you is what goal would you want to hit first? What out of all those goals, which one is the
Oh
first
god.
top priority on your mind that I want to do
The
this?
first one, oh, that's a good question. I actually hold on. I gotta look at what I wrote again.
I, I
Let
actually
me
I actually can send you
ah,
because
here it is.
I have the link
I
to it as well.
Yeah, I saw you have the link, so I'm
hmm
gonna I'm gonna put that in here real quick. Let me look and see. What did I write again? It's Oh, okay, okay. Honestly, number 4, where it's make more people's days less shitty.
hmm
That is my why I started streaming in the first place.
hmm
That is probably the highest priority for me. The first thing I want to do
hmm
is and I am achieving that goal, which is nice.
Yeah.
But it's always good to hear someone being like, "Hey, I had a really bad day, but watching you stream just made my day so much
hmm
better." And that for me is why I love to stream,
hmm
right? Like why it's kind of my driving force and why I started streaming. Place. So that's kind of like the number one thing for me. I would love to like business creating this into a business is definitely like a close first or second.
hmm
It's very close, but honestly, my priority is if I can make someone's day a little bit
hmm
better. That's the biggest thing.
So
So.
I will say from myself particular, I already have goals in mind what I would love to do. Um, I want to do content creation more. I want to like be more able to do stuff like that. My goal for
Mhm.
content creation is to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, which is very doable for me.
Mhm.
Right at the moment I am right now,
Yeah.
with how much I progress in 1 month, I have no doubt that if I really put more effort into it, I probably could go in it, and I have noticed that, and I want to do that.
Yeah.
With Twitch, I want to do more creative streams, more fun streams, interactive streams. Um,
Mhm.
so I take inspiration from a streamer called Dud Dug. If you've ever heard of him, if you haven't, pretty much it's I want to do challenge streams where I do like a Monopoly, but I can't buy any other property until I finish one property, or do stuff like that,
Mhm.
and play against the hardest bots possible. Do stuff like that. Just have fun with it and kind of enjoy life with my
Mhm.
streams. And then with Skyrim, have like a stream where I'm doing a Skyrim stream, and the entire time I'm like, can't say this one word, and chat kind of helps me try and makes me say words. I want to do stuff like that. I want to do play games with only voice commands. See if
Mhm.
I can beat Roman Reigns with only voice commands on WWE. Stuff like that. I want to try and experiment with
Yeah.
stupid fun ideas for streams that I think people would enjoy, but also
Mhm.
I can have fun with. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and those are the
Of
type of
course.
passions I want. And then of
Mhm.
course, like I want to make people's day less shitty too. I
Yeah.
I don't want my streams to be come in and you're stressed out. Like with this
Mhm.
podcast in mind, whenever I invite a guest, I don't want you to feel stressed. I don't want you to feel um what's the word for it? I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. I want you to come in and this
Mhm.
turns out to be one of the best moments of your day because you had fun conversating. And sometimes I don't know what you're going through at the moment. There's been several times
Mhm.
where you might have something going on in your life and this comes up and it turns in your day from a very shitty day to a great day. That's something I want to
Yeah.
no, I don't want to know. No, like I don't really need people to go over like, hey, you made my day even better or stuff like that. I just want to
Mhm.
have the feeling that maybe I can do something like this. Maybe I can have fun. Maybe I can develop more friendships, connections with people.
Yeah.
Which is the whole purpose of this. Like, yes, it's
Mhm.
nice to grow. Like, obviously, like I can grow all I want. I
Mhm.
can talk to new people. I can talk to bigger people. Help me grow my own channel. And the
Mhm.
only reason I'll do that is because if I grow, then I help other people grow because more people watching my streams and more people watching my streams, the more people watching my
Mhm.
Tao show. And with the more people watching my Tao show, the more people are going to hear about this streamer I'm talking to. Which,
Mhm.
if I were to all of a sudden start growing and I were to reach like a bunch of views, like averaging 100 or something, I would 100% bring on some friends who are like, I want to see grow on and I know could grow and
Mhm.
have them talk because at the end of the day, I want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
but that is my priority. My priority is to make connections with people. I want us to have a great time. I want me to make new friends that I can make more connections with. I don't want to just use random people like, oh yes, you have 1,000 viewers. I'm gonna have you on my podcast. No, I want
Yeah.
if I have someone who has that many views on my podcast, it's usually I want to have a fun time with you. I want to like talk to you more because I do want.
Mhm.
If I have you on my podcast, at the end of the day, I want to become friends with you. 'Cause I do find you a fun person.
Mhm.
Because there's people I would love to have on this podcast. I know I probably would never in a million years, but I want to try. Dud Duck is one
Yeah.
of the ones I want to have on this podcast, just because he has inspired me a lot. Um,
Mhm.
Especially with the past year, he has been one of my biggest inspirations. Um, so it's more or less I want people on my podcast to have fun, and with that comes this. And podcasts are meant to be fun in my eyes, not meant to be a drag.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point of it is have fun with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I will let you know you're doing an amazing job because I have been having a lot of fun on here. A lot of fun. So I can tell you this is very relaxing. It's very nice. I really have to say the conversation is very, very what's the word? I can't think of it. It's very like what you said earlier. Like it's just flowing very well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's not like it doesn't feel like I have to be robotic and I have to be like, yes, no, I like this. It's very just like casual. It's nice. Like we're having a good conversation, especially back and forth between us.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really good. It's very natural. So I have to say you're doing an amazing job, and I really think what your goals you have are very nice goals. And you should definitely you're doing an amazing job, and I wish nothing but the best
I appreciate that. I,
Yeah.
I'm trying not to cry right now. um,
Oh no! Don't cry.
but I
Oh.
really do appreciate it because at the end of the day, that's the entire purpose of this. Is I want it to be very natural. If I were to get through,
Mhm.
like I mentioned earlier, if I were to get through every question, I would think I'm a failure because I mess up so many.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, I just talk.
like
I can't shut up. Amy can tell you that.
like for you, Sif, Kiri, Vel, Luna, Spooky, every episode I have not gotten through every question. I've gone through maybe half.
Good.
Which if I get through
Mhm.
half, that's like, oh, I did my job properly because we had natural conversations. For Vel, I
Mhm.
know Vel's was very rough in the beginning. I made a comment that
Yeah.
the only issue I had with Vel's interview was the beginning, and that's my fault.
Yeah.
And
Well,
mostly,
especially if it's your first one too, it's
mm-hmm,
always going to be the roughest. Like no matter what you do, it's always going to be the hardest one to do, which is why I think it's great if people bring people back to be like,
mm-hmm.
"Hey, like let's do this again, you know? Let's give you a better, a better time." And once they kind of see that improvement, I think that really helps.
And I know with when it comes to just doing these in general, um, time obviously gonna improve. But I'm very happy what I'm gonna be doing with this series is I do
Mhm.
it weekly. But once I hit season 1, I'm doing 12 episodes per season, and after the 12 episodes, I'm taking a month break to give myself refresh
Wow.
again because
Yeah.
I know people might miss it, which is obviously gonna happen. Because all of a sudden
Mhm.
I'm not doing these weekly anymore. Don't worry, I'm coming back in a month and a half. But I want to take
Yeah.
that month off to kind of give me a refreshed look, to kind of get me able to remember, okay, this is some of the improvements I need to make upon for season 2. And make improvements and then have fun with my guests a lot more. Invite new people. Um,
Mhm.
so I always want to start off the way I look at it, I want to start and end off the series with a bang. Um,
Mhm.
so I have like ideas of who I want to end each of the podcast seasons with.
Mhm.
Um, like each episode has gotten a lot better, and you can tell just off how
Mhm.
the progress have flowed, how much the conversation has flowed. Which, like, I made a comment to
Mhm.
my friend, is that we had a D&D segment with Vel, and went on for a long time. And I made a comment, I actually like that because of this. It was a natural conversation we had.
Mhm.
And he was just like, "Oh, I see that," and I made a comment about the beginning. He's like, "I saw that too," and that's the entire premise. Um,
Mhm.
and to end my final question, I know I went on a lot longer than I thought I would.
No,
Um,
you're fine.
um,
Don't
the
feel bad.
the final question is, what is some of your future plans for this year?
Oh, future plans.
Like any
Well,
big plans?
gosh. Pretty much just trying. Well, I do have hopefully be attending a con as a potential panelist. So
Ooh.
that will be a lot of fun. So that is in the works. It's coming up really soon. So I'm very excited about that. So I gotta kind of get the ball rolling on that one. So that'll be kind of really exciting. Definitely planning on hopefully getting some merch made as well and
Mm-hmm.
just having a company that can help with that as well, which will be great. Um, and just just keep trying to make this into really a business and
Mm-hmm.
getting the ball rolling to where I can actually do this, full time and
Mm-hmm.
um that's kind of the goal, is to make people obviously smile, but also be able to make a living off of it, right? That's like
Mm-hmm.
another thing is I'd love to get sponsorships soon and like I'd love to hit partners so that way I can get sponsorships and it's all those kinds of things. Um so that's kind of the plan right now. I don't really have like a plan set in place. It's more of just winging it, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So that's the biggest thing for me.
So I do know I usually do leave the little bit left of my question to chat to ask questions, and people can still ask questions. I am lagging really bad. I just started noticing that out of
Oh no.
nowhere. I dropped so many fucking frames.
Oh yeah, no, I noticed OBS has been having that issue lately. Mine did
Mm-hmm.
that the other day.
OBS has been really freaking me in the butt lately.
Yup, yup. I feel that. I feel that.
But yeah, if anyone does have any questions, make sure to ask them now. I'm gonna leave it to a 5 minute thing just for this once, due to the fact that it is framing lossing a lot.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, I'm leaving up to into this now. I'm gonna end off the YouTube video though. Thanks so much for coming on, Liz. It was so much fun to have you.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me on. It was honestly, this is so much fun. I had such a fun time, and I'm super excited to see where this goes with you, and I hope it goes super successful.
Maybe, or maybe I might get too
Hey,
too out there.
yeah, I mean, hey, you know what? If as long as you're enjoying it, that's the biggest thing. As long as you're having fun, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm gonna end the recording, and then there's a question by Demi. Alrighty, what's it like doing all these collabs? Why do you do collabs so much?
Why do I do collabs so much? Because I like to hang out with my friends and meet new people, and a lot of people reach out and ask me to like be on their stuff, and I'm like, me? You want me on there? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
sure, okay. Ah, so it's that's kind of why, and
Mm-hmm.
it's fun. I like doing them. It's nice to meet new people, and especially people are like, "Oh, I'm just little old me." I'm like, "No, like it's an honor. Like I don't care what size streamer you are or what it is. I mean, if you thought enough for me to be like, "Hey, I would love to have you on." Like that's what it means to me. Like I'm honored. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care how big or small. It's still an honor that you thought that I would be great for an interview. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I would have to say to that.
Liz, what is your favorite part of streaming?
My favorite part of streaming, making someone's day. That's like the biggest thing for me is making someone's day. If I can make someone's day a little less shittier, that's that's the most important thing, you know? Like that's the most important thing for me. So that's like it's the cheesiest line, but that's all I can think of.
Maybe cheesy, but I mean, it is fats.
Yeah, and like that's literally all I can think of because that's all like I really care about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care about anything else. And you know what? If I can't make it into full time, that's fine. I'll just continue doing it, just not full time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I work as a manager right now. I'm doing real estate school, all that fun stuff. And much I would love to make this full time, I don't see myself making it full time. So I usually
Mhm.
just focus on my other day to day life, which is why I've been
Yeah.
more or less
Yeah,
a lot
it's
busier.
exactly. It's what it's really what you consider, like what you see. It's what you think you can invest in, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing is I wouldn't invest in this if I didn't see the potential. And since I have that chance, I said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna invest in this and see where it
Mm-hmm.
goes. That's like my biggest thing
Liz,
is invest and see where it
oh,
goes.
how do you
Oh,
not stress
sorry.
about numbers?
I just don't look at them. And
True.
also, not only that, but my dad is probably like my biggest help. Um, because my father is very much about like he's a business guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's started many businesses, he's run many businesses, he still has a business that he runs to this very day, and he was really nice about kind of understanding how content creating works and really just made sure to remind me like, hey, numbers can fluctuate and that's totally fine. You
Mm-hmm.
just have to look at it in a logical sense. It doesn't mean you're a failure. There could be multiple factors, right? So he's like, you got to remember there's multiple factors as to why your numbers dip.
Mm-hmm.
Is it our kids going back to school? Is it a work day? Is it a holiday? Is it blah 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 blah? So you have to like take all of those into
Mm-hmm.
consideration. And I try not to get too like harsh about it because your numbers will go back up.
Mm-hmm.
Your numbers will. And also, if you're focusing on the numbers and you're saying to people that you honestly genuinely care about them, that to me kind of says otherwise because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, you're saying you do, but you're so upset about the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So why? You know?
I've
So
gotten
it's kind of like, you know?
I've gotten to the point of not really focusing too much on them. Like I don't I look at my streams and I know I'm not like the most popular streamer, but I don't care that much because I am having fun at the end of the day. Because
Hmm.
this is something I enjoy doing. I enjoy streaming. I enjoy making YouTube videos. I'm not gonna have the most comments. I'm not gonna have the most interactions on a video or a stream. I I want to just have fun. I lived.
Yeah. And that's something I think a lot of people forget about, right?
Mhm.
Having fun. And that was another thing you mentioned. My dad mentioning is just having fun, you
Mhm.
know? That's the biggest thing is if you're not having fun at it, why are you doing it?
Mhm.
And that goes for any job, you know?
And I think I'm gonna end it on this last question. What is the hardest part of
Mhm.
streaming?
Mm. Um. Hmm. Gosh, what's the hardest part? I think it's the mentality, the mental health of it.
Mhm.
I think mental health in this industry is so bad,
Mhm.
and I think people just aren't giving themselves enough self care and they're burning themselves out because they're like, I have to stay, I have to catch up, I have to blah, 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 blah. But it's like, no, you can take a step back, you can breathe, you can relax. It's okay. Like, take care of yourselves. And also, it's one of those like really big things I notice is like people just like focusing too much on other people's stuff and their shit versus focusing on their own. And it's just like, bro, like, no wonder why. Like, I have to like log myself out of Twitter and
Mhm.
stay away from it for a few days because it can be so toxic.
Mhm.
So toxic. Because everybody's has everything to say. And I think it's just like stay in your lane, have fun. Don't worry about what others like. Don't think about other people. Who cares about them? Focus on you succeeding
Mhm.
because they're comparing themselves so much to other people. And it's like stop comparing yourself to other people. Focus on comparing yourself with yourself. Compare yourself to yourself. And that is what's going to help a lot of people break out of that toxic mindset.
Mhm.
Um, so I think it's just the mentality of like how people are just so focused on other people's stuff instead of their own thing. I think that's one of the hardest things for people
Mhm.
to overcome. And one of the hardest parts about streaming because you just meet a lot of people who are just not great people. So, but
Mhm.
that's just anywhere. So,
Yeah, I would ask one more question. But once again, my stream is fucking up, so I can't
oh
really do that.
no.
Uh, so I'm gonna end